Hey gang, Coach Fox here with you for Saturday's workout, strength work today, a little bit of warm up, strength work, and then some conditioning, some intervals at the back end. So let's get into it. You've got your warm up time is going to be 3 rounds, looks like, of a 15-second hold in a W position. And this is going to be prone, but just to demo from here, this is what we're looking for. So my thumbs are going to be facing behind me, the elbows are kind of tucked in, and you can see my torso and arms kind of hit a W. And we'll be lifting the arms off of the floor and lifting the chest just a little bit. So it's a 15-second hold. I'm belly down on my mat, thumbs up to the ceiling, elbows tucked in, and I squeeze my shoulder blades together, press my thumbs towards the ceiling, keeping the chin tucked, and we're holding here for 15 seconds. After that 15-second hold, we're going to do 6 squat with upper back or thoracic rotations. So feet in my squat stance. I'm going to reach over, pull myself down to the bottom of a squat, rotate right side up, rotate left side up, and then either shove the hips up and stand or hit the bottom of your squat without reaching the toes. Rotate and reach, and then come straight out of your squat. So again, getting ready for the overhead squats and the strength work. Bottom of the squat, I block one knee, reach and rotate, block the other knee, reach and rotate, and then either hips up and stand or just coming out. And then your third movement's a reverse yoga push-up. So I'm going to start this from a push-up position here. From the push-up position, I'm going to go downward dog, slide nice and low into an upward dog, back into a downward dog. That equals 1 rep. So again, belly braced, elbows close, press up into an upward dog, and then slide into a downward dog. Option for an optional dog, optional. Additional dog, optional. Anyway, that's your warm up. Probably 3 rounds on the warm up, depending on time. And then we'll get into your strength work. You've seen this for the last couple of weeks now. You've got some single arm overhead squats. I'm going to demo with a kettlebell today. And then some high pulls. The rep range is big, between 5 and 15. So depending on your load, lower end for heavier weights or progressing to heavier weights if you have them available, progressing all the way up to 15 each side if you don't have heavier weights or if you've been building throughout. So for the kettlebell, I can clean it and press it or push press it, or you could snatch it overhead. If you're snatching it, then you could definitely do that first rep as a squat snatch. I don't think I'm going to demo that though. And once I'm overhead, I want to keep this arm locked out. Arm is straight, opposite arm is going to come out and balance me out. Feet are in my squat position. I brace, sit down as vertically as I can, and then come up to standing. Notice there's a little bit of a lean away from the weight. That's okay. There's a little bit of that rotation that you warmed up in your thoracic rotations in the warm up, but I'm trying to not let myself get too far off here. So again, opposite arm balances, this stays locked, sitting down and standing. For some folks, having a light gaze up towards the weight can be helpful. 5 to 15 on one side, and then switching, 5 to 15 on the other side. And then you'll take a little bit of rest, shake the shoulders out, and your B movement or your alternate strength movement today is a single arm high pull. I've got my same weight, so I'm going to do far fewer on the high pull here than I did on the squat. This requires a little more strict pulling strength, which is probably a little more challenging. I lead with the elbow, shoulder stays down, and I lead with the elbow to get this weight to come straight up the middle of my body. Kind of like I'm zipping up my sweatshirt on a nice 90-degree Saturday. 5 to 15 on one side, 5 to 15 on the other side. Note that the shoulder stays down, the elbow comes up, and the weight stays in line with my body. So some things I'm trying to avoid: pulling the elbow back, kind of curling the weight or T-rexing the weight. And if that means that my range of motion is a little bit less, I'd rather that than starting to curl the weight at the elbow. So again, elbow leads, weight comes up the body. 3 sets back and forth, 5 to 15 single arm overhead squat each arm, so a lot of squatting going on there, and then 5 to 15 on the single arm high pulls. And then we've got your intervals for today. So you've got kind of like an A part and a B part. You're gonna do 4 rounds of each A and B. 4 rounds of A, resting a little bit, and then moving into 4 rounds of B. Each interval is the same setup, the same flow. 30 seconds of work at each station, followed by 30 seconds of rest. And then again, you're resting 2 minutes in between parts A and parts B. So part A is 4 rounds of 30 seconds of push-ups, 30 seconds of gate swings, and 30 seconds of V-ups. So for the push-up, nice tall plank position. I'm squeezing, elbows in, kind of towards the sides, a little bit of room between the elbow and the torso, not a whole lot of daylight, but also not crowding it out. 30 seconds, maybe you're a push-up ninja, you're gonna blast through 30 seconds, no big deal. I encourage you to do so if you can hang on to that, even if you have a little bit of a fall off by the 4th round. But probably for most of us, it's gonna be doing a few reps, taking a quick rest, and doing that once or twice throughout the set. When you rest on these push-ups, let's say, 5 is my capacity for today. I wanna do my 5 repetitions, and then I don't want to hang out here because this is work. I want to get right off of the arms before jumping back in for more. 30 seconds over there. And then I'm going to stand up. 30 seconds of gate swings. Feet start under the hips. I shove them out to my squat position as I drop, and then jump up to standing. So I'm opening the feet, opening the knees, opening the gate as it is. Drop, pop, drop, pop. Sitting all the way down into a full squat. 30 seconds there. Those are not miserable. They're fantastic. I'm sure you're going to love them. And then finally, 30 seconds of V-ups. A couple of options here. At the top, ideally, legs are straight. I'm in this V position with the torso and the legs. I've got the option to tuck, if that's easier for me. I've got the option to go fingers down to get a little bit of balance at the top. And if the V-up position really kind of gets at your tailbone, your coccyx, then probably going with 30 seconds of crunches or alternating bicycle crunches, which would look like this. So 30 seconds there, each side, or 30 seconds, not each side, 30 seconds total, keeping yourself down on the floor. So that's A. 30 seconds of push-ups, 30 seconds of gate swings, 30 seconds of V-ups, 30 seconds of rest. You do that 4 times, and then you get 2 minutes of rest. And now you're not done. Part B, low box runner, 15 seconds each side plank, and then renegade rows with no push-up. So let's go through those movements. The low box runner, I've got this yoga block that we've been using for these. You want to have it be something relatively stable. If you've done these before, then go to your default object. If not, something stable. It doesn't have to be high, but something stable. You're alternating, basically running in place. So I've got my left foot on the low box. That means my right arm is going to be up, flexed in my running position, and then I'm alternating side to side. 30 seconds over there. If I just show from the other angle, left foot on top, right hand up, alternating legs and arms for 30 seconds. So getting your heart rate spiked over there. And then with that elevated heart rate, we're going to hit the floor and do a 15-second side plank each arm. Bottom side of the body is working really nice and tight, so I'm stabilizing here. Legs up makes it a little bit tougher. Straight arm is a little less stable, so if you're feeling pretty stable, you're grabbing the floor, then maybe going for that option there. 15 seconds on one side, 15 seconds on the other side. And then your third movement in part B is a renegade row without the push-up. So we've all only got one implement, or most of us have one implement, and I've got the kettlebell today, so how am I going to do that? I'm going to use whatever I did my low box runner to, and I'm going to do about 15 seconds of work on one side, and then about 15 seconds on the other side. The block elevates me a little bit, so I've got enough room to roll with this kettlebell here. If you've got a big kettlebell, you might have to go to something higher. Feet wide, I'm keeping a plank position on my left arm, and I'm rowing on my right. I know that for me, in about 15 seconds of work, that's going to be about 8 reps. So that I'll come down and switch and do 8 reps on the other side before getting my rest. Again, bigger bell, bigger handle, elevate the arm a little bit. If you've got a dumbbell, you can probably get away with doing these just on the floor. But whatever you have, since you have this out anyway, it can be nice to just give you the clearance so that you're not rowing from a really rotated position. It's a lot of alliteration. So that's your part B. 4 rounds, 30, 30, 30, 30 rest. Have fun, a lot of work today. Enjoy your Saturday. And hopefully you have some AC going in your place when you do